The thing is that React is not defined. Are we calling it anywhere here? Maybe we should import it here, even if we don't use it exactly. Maybe that's what we need to do. Okay, maybe as, yeah, one line says every time. Maybe as part of the dynamic import system, we actually just, it would be helpful if we imported it here, even if we're not using it, just for the sake of getting this importing to wire up dynamically. Maybe that's what we need to do. Anyway, the component's being rendered out here, so when we click on it, we should still get name of undefined, or constructor of null, pretty much the same thing. But now, when we go to my component, when we go to the base component, we can say something like methods. This is the rest operator in ES6. This will basically say all the parameters that you pass into this method call, put them in a single variable called methods. So now we can say methods map, method, this method is this bind, this method bind this. Okay, and this is a lambda expression in ES6 as well. This basically expands to function method return whatever that value is. But we don't need anything with the return, we just want to redefine the method. The arrow here makes sure that this refers to the calling context, and in this case the calling context here is the class around it. Okay, that seemed cool. So now we're replacing methods with bound versions of them, but all we have to do in here is specify strings of the names of the methods that we want to import, which works kind of well. I'm using this elsewhere and it works quite well. So we'll use it here. Now, render. Can't read property bind of undefined. What is going on? So, method doesn't actually exist. That's what we need to do. I kind of expected a burnt basket for that, but anyway. Letting me down, simulated Greg. So when we click this now, it's being cool. When we click this now, it's binding this exactly. I'm so happy that the stream is up to date, that it's not really lagging out. That's really cool. It's almost real time. Okay, so it's binding this properly. Check out console. It's writing that stuff up. That's really cool. So now this is like quite a convenient method for us. And we've got an example of how to add events on here and do stuff with them. That's pretty cool. Was clicked. Really cool. We can define prop types here, as I pointed out. So how these are used are that we can have things like prop is value, curly braces are for dynamic values to be inserted. We can just do string values as well. And those will get validated according to the methods and things that we define here, the properties we define here. You can also do deeper structures, so you can say something like my structure, well, I'll call it my shape, and you'll see why now, is React prop types shape, and then you can have another property in here. And so that validates a deeper object structure. And you can nest this stuff quite a ways. But I'll keep those there as just a quick reference to the stuff. For instance, I've got I'll just go back to that work stuff I was talking about earlier. We've got 3 components, and they're quite interesting from the point of view that they do quite a lot of stuff. They all have, actually I think only 2 of them have this stuff, but if we go to, say, the editor component, which is like a file-based editor, it's got a form and you can rename files and you can change their titles and stuff. what it's got here is quite a complex prop type structure. I'll zoom in a little bit. So we're doing stuff like we have this main file object that gets passed in, and then we also have two functions that get passed in, so we can validate that onFileSave is actually a function. And I mean, this is like even a nested shape, so we've got 3 levels deep in this object, but we can still validate all the types that are passed in, and most of it's strings, but you can do number, and you can do func, and you can do shape. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Okay, so hi. Welcome. We're doing some React stuff. You're kind of late to the party, but anyway. So we've got these events firing off. Let's commit this. What did I call this? Just add more added tests. Okay. Added base component with event. Yeah, React's cool. React's cool. We may go over time a little bit tonight. Yeah. Okay, what I want to do is I want to set up Travis tests for this as well. So let's get here and make sure this stuff is being pushed. Bum, bum, bum. Added base component with event. Okay, so let's add this stuff to Travis. Come on then. I'm just going to take this over to the other screen. I have no idea what it's going to reveal about me. Wow, I'm so glad I took it over to the other screen. Wow. So glad. Scala is an interesting language. I watched a couple talks on it recently. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Now, what was this thing called again? React Starter. There we go. Let's put that on there. The trouble is, here's Travis. Yeah, here's Travis. The trouble is, we don't have any React config for this yet. And I can't remember what this JavaScript config is supposed to look like. So travis.yml, language Node.js, Node.js 4.1, Travis test node. I don't know. Maybe Travis has baskets like you. Hey, not bad. Not bad. I'll just test it on 4.1. I'm not really interested in the other stuff. Travis also does npm install, so we don't need to worry about that. And the script, let's see what it runs. npm test. That's really cool. npm test. Hey, that's really cool. Okay, so this is going to run. I'll just put a space in between here and added Travis config. Okay, so Travis is a continuous integration server service, which is free for open source. You configure your project. As we've seen, like, there's actually very little to configure. And when this is in your repository, when you create pull requests, or when you merge things, or when you have commits to master, then Travis will run automatically based on like a pingback from GitHub, and it will run the tests in the repository, and if they fail, it will send you emails, and if at some point it starts passing again, it will send you emails the first time it passes, and then it'll stop. It won't really spam you after that, but every time it fails, it will let you know. And the reason we use things like this are because when you're developing with lots of people in a team, or you're developing a large application, you can't keep all the changes in mind that are going on. So sometimes someone's going to break stuff that they don't know they've broken, and it's a way of running the test automatically, all the tests automatically, so that you can be notified of breaking changes that happen to your application. And it runs it the moment stuff's pushed, or the moment stuff's merged, unless it's really busy and it takes a long time to start up. Now, I've just gotten an email from Travis to say it has passed. Dun dun dun. And I'll show you, I'll give you an example of how this works, okay? So git checkout be testing Travis. Vim readme foo. I'll delete this branch, so don't worry. Testing git push upstream origin testing Travis. Okay, now we're going to have a separate branch on this repository. This isn't generally the way that community collaboration. Yes, Travis doesn't have any baskets, is what I'm saying. It freaks out, but anyway, this isn't usually how community collaboration works. Usually people will fork your repository, they'll do their changes in a branch on their repository, and then they'll create a pull request from there. But now we're just creating a separate branch in the same repository and pull requesting from there. So compare create pull request, we're just going to see 0 lines added. Well, we're going to see foo. But when we make this pull request, a very interesting thing is going to happen. We have this thing that shows up, and that's because we've connected Travis to this repository. And if we close some stuff and then head over to Travis, we can see the build that's running here is this build that will appear. Dun, dun, dun. And it's just a pull request, right? I mean, you can toggle it so that it doesn't scan all pull requests, but I mean, look here, it's installed 412. It failed. Why did it fail? Can't find module starter component. Well, look. For some reason, that's exited with 0, and it shouldn't have. It should have exited with 1. It's burning. Yes, it's burning baskets. So it's not exactly working 100%. It is running the stuff, but it's not failing. So make Jest fail Travis. Why? Why? Why, JP? Why? Let's see. What? That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Test fail. Well, Jest CLI. Jest, let's see, node modules, bin, Jest, help. What are we doing here? Version, run in band. That doesn't seem to work. Okay. Config options. Yeah, that doesn't look like anything there that we're particularly interested in. Why do Jest tests fail and Travis passes? Travis passes. Nothing. Okay, I'll have a play around with that and figure it out off air because I imagine it will be boring staring at the whole time. But we've got this config here, so we can play around with what Travis is doing and maybe use some bash scripting just to echo stuff out if it's not failing but it should be failing. I'll have a play around with that later. Git checkout master. Now this readme thing poses a good question. What about all the other community files that we usually see in repositories? Like, how do we get these in here? Well, the one that I consider quite important is a code of conduct. So this is, like, it's quite a contentious thing whether to have codes of conduct or not in repositories.